What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Crew 2, and well, in this video I wanted to do a comparison between both of the cabs on this game because I feel like they do need to be tested against each other a little bit. So right here we have the Ford Crown Victoria Marcos cab, and then moving over we have the Cadillac Deville Marcos cab. Now this car is in the Motor Pass, basically $10 to even get this vehicle. Many people are wondering, how does it compare to the Ford? Is it actually good, and what are the differences with each vehicle, top speed, handling, all that good stuff? How do they drive compared to each other? So I'm going to be doing a test in this, a race in each, top speed runs and all that good stuff to see which car is actually better in ways. Now, I'm not going to lie, the Motor Pass has been having me in a bit of a funk, honestly. I've been trying to figure out, like, overall how I like it, really. Let me know you guys' thoughts so far on this Motor Pass. I say it's pretty decent overall, but is the Marcos cab here actually worth, if you guys want to get it just for this? I'm going to have to be honest, I'm not 100% sure on that. We'll figure that out in this video, though, to see how good the Ford compared to that car actually is. Let's jump right onto the road right now and see how this car does first. So obviously arriving outside here with the Ford, as you guys will see, I did mess the front end up pretty hard there, but I did run into some of those yellow things back there, and those seem to destroy your car, so avoid those if you guys want to keep your car nice. Regardless, let's go drive this thing right now and get the top speed on it and compare it to the Cadillac. Now, one thing I do want to mention as well, I did say before, is these cars are 4-speed manuals, both of them. Interested to see what the new car is going to be. It'll be in the Summit. That one probably a 4-speed as well, but nonetheless, I hope that thing will be pretty decent. Because I know a lot of people are kind of mixed on the 4-speed manuals on this game, just how they drive. I do know where you're coming from on that. Overall acceleration on the Crown Vic's actually pretty decent. When I first drove this car, it actually kind of surprised me how good it was. I wasn't expecting it to be like this, well, honestly, this good for that matter. I thought it was going to be kind of terrible, bad handling, and like just bad driving and all that, but to be honest, this car is pretty dang decent for what it is, and I was really hoping we can customize it like from the movie like Taxi. Unfortunately, we can't. That would be pretty cool though. Regardless, top speed on this car is going to pretty much be up there, similar to the other street vehicles. I'd say around 240-ish or so. I might have picked probably the worst road possible to do this on, unfortunately. But let me speed up a little bit here because for some reason, whenever I'm on these highways, there's 3,000 cars everywhere. So let me see if I can get to the straightaway over here and then test it there. It'll be pretty good if I can actually keep my lane as well and not crash, because I'm supposed to be a good driver and I just saw myself on the road. Anyway, let's go do this right now. So quick little top speed run here. Get there with no issues at all. 248 miles an hour. Now you could probably push it like 249 or so, but we're going to pretty much be wasting nitrous, really no point there. So 248 miles an hour on the Crown Victoria. What I've been noticing doing these missions as well, speaking of those ones right there, it pretty much completes them pretty easily, which I'll probably be testing these cars on those. Honestly, I'm not going to be doing races. I'll probably do a couple of those with each vehicle. Talk about them both in there to see how they compare to each other in these races. Now jumping into the Cadillac here, so immediately driving right off, you guys will see, well, this is actually a pretty awesome looking car. I got to give them the credit on that with the design of this Taxi at least. I mean, it looks really good. Overall, the acceleration seems pretty similar on both vehicles, I'm not going to lie. The biggest issue I had, like I said, is they are 4-speed manuals and they're kind of wonky to drive. I have noticed this car doesn't pull as hard above in 4th gear above 190 as the Crown Victoria does. It kind of depends on the road you're on. Overall, they seem kind of similar, but I do believe that the other car might be a little bit faster. You guys see how long this thing is taking to get up to speed there. If I hit the nitrous, it gets there pretty quick. But overall, the Crown Victoria seems to hold its speed and top speed better than this car does, which is something definitely to look for. 248 miles an hour on that car, and this car is going to probably do around the same there, 249, probably 250. But again, if you're pushing the car that hard to get there, you're just going to waste nitrous, really no point. Overall, top speed is the same, but sometimes top speed doesn't really matter too much depending on the race, because if you guys are actually doing these races and all that in these missions, go and have a car that can also hold its speed, and if this car's struggling to keep 230 miles an hour, acceleration might be a little bit slower. It might be a better option to pick the Ford, honestly, because this car just struggles a little bit sometimes, which I noticed with the regular DeVille as well. Like, sometimes they just can't do it. That car struggled a little bit on races, and some areas I was just trying to figure out what the car was doing. So, for example, I'm basically holding right now on this road. Now, like I said, sometimes the highways can also be a little different with the speed. Like, sometimes the Bugattis can do 300 on other parts, and other ones they can barely hit 260. Maybe it's the elevation, maybe it's me losing my mind, who really knows. But regardless, this car is basically on a hill right now, and it's pretty much struggling. I was going down the hill before, and it was still doing about 230, and it was losing its speed after 230, so it's something definitely to look for if you guys are trying to do these cars and compare them in speed and all that. But if you do have the Motor Pass, it's worth testing it out. But I feel like many people will probably be choosing the Crown Victoria overall. Now I'm going to go do a couple of the lovely drivers wanted in both these cars to see how they do there. Pulling up to the first race here in the Crown Victoria, so let's start this up right now. This is going to be a short distance one here. Let's accept it. So 2 miles on the first one here. I normally do have these cars in automatic, but for this I'm going to be running it in manual, to be honest, just because, see how they actually do. So overall, acceleration seems pretty similar to for the most part on both vehicles. I'm going to have to be honest and say that the Crown Vic does seem a little bit faster overall with speed, though. I have been noticing that. It seems to climb a little bit easier and doesn't struggle as hard top end, which is something definitely to look for. Especially if you guys are doing these with the time limit. You definitely do not want to have issues with your vehicle and or speed problems as well. That just seems to work pretty good on both vehicles. Overall, I have to say they're pretty similar on that, mainly because the 4-speed transmissions make the nitrous a little weird sometimes, and shifting and all that. If you guys are on automatic, might make these a little bit easier. So the first one here was completed pretty easily. I'll do another one right after. Let's immediately fly around this turn here and complete this one. I'm very, very impressed with this car. Like, I really am. It's doing a lot better than I thought. So first mission completed right there, if I can actually hold the button down. 20 seconds to spare or so. Pretty easy. So I'm actually going to do another short one here in Las Vegas. Now, I was going to do a medium distance one, but unfortunately when I pressed it, it literally wasn't working. I started it and the map waypoint thing was completely broken. I really have no idea what is going on behind me either. What in the world y'all doing? See, these cars look like me, but they don't drive like me. I'll tell you that right now. But anyway, let's start this thing up right now and get this going. Now, unfortunately, the other one I did not work. That was about 5 miles. So I'm going to do 2 short ones with the Crown Vic here. Now, I'm sure many people are aware this car is pretty dang good. Overall, I'm honestly pretty impressed with it, I have to say. The speed end is pretty good. The overall handling on the car is decent. And, well, for a Crown Victoria, it definitely doesn't really drive like one. It actually drives better, which is something that I'm sure many people are looking for in these, and that is something that I look for as well. Many people are trying to figure out, is the actual, DeVille worth it? We're going to find that out in the next couple of missions I'm going to do with that car next. Go over my overall favorite car and which one I think you guys should be running and all that. Many people are probably going to pick the Crown Vic. Now, I think this car's probably about 100K or so when it's not on sale anymore, which really isn't too bad. It is required, obviously, to do these missions, though. I say as long as the car is maxed out, you should be able to complete these fairly easily within the time limit that is showed there, as long as you don't crash a lot, which can happen sometimes. We've all been there. Fly around this turn here. Whoa! Yep, I just mentioned crashing a lot. And I also noticed some of these also go to the same locations. I'm sure many people have noticed that as well, that sometimes when you start them up in different places, they all go to the same set location here. So starting right off there, finishing that up with the Crown Vic. Overall, this car, you really can't go wrong with it. It's wonderful, and it doesn't cost you $10 for the motor pass, but honestly, if you play the game a lot, the motor pass is honestly pretty worth it because it gives you something to do and all that good stuff. Anyway, let's jump into the DeVille now. So jumping into the final race here with the lovely Cadillac. Now, I'm sure many people are wondering, is this car actually worth getting and all that? So I'm going to do one more short distance race here with it right now, one of these lovely missions. 2.8 miles, not too bad there. So, first things first, I wanted to point out with this vehicle is you're going to notice when driving it, the handling on it could be a little weird. I have a pretty dang good build on it too. I feel like the Crown Vic's better in handling, so I'm going to give the Crown Vic that crown there, no pun intended. Moving over to the brakes, this car's brakes are terrible, bruh. I don't know what they are. I don't even think they're using brakes. I think they're using graham crackers to try to slow the car down. I really don't know, but the brakes are not that good, even on the regular coupe. They were kind of annoying me a little bit as well. They were just terrible. Besides that, the speed on the car is pretty decent. I'd say holding speed's kind of weird. It doesn't really hold speed very well. Going down the road and all that, you'll hold speed at 220-ish, and running in other cars does not help. You hold speed a little bit there, and then that's pretty much it. But I think the Crown Vic can hold speed a little bit better, and that car does have better handling overall. This car's kind of weird sometimes. It's not awful, but my goodness, I don't know what it is, and it just isn't that great, honestly. This car is pretty cool. It's more of a collector vehicle in this. If you got the motor pass, add this thing in your collection. But if you're going to be doing these missions, you really cannot go wrong with the Crown Vic, at least until we see another taxi added into the game. Let's end this right now. So I figured for the end of this, I'll just do a little cruise here and talk about these cars overall, my final thoughts on them. So starting right off, like I mentioned before, the handling on the Crown Vic is going to be better there, so I'm going to have to give that to that vehicle. The speed overall, that car can handle speed better, it seems like, and the brakes, like I said, on this car are terrible. But the one thing the coupe has going for it is it looks awesome. I do think they did a great job with it overall in the design department. It does look really good. Crown Vic obviously is, a Crown Victoria, and it has a cab setup on it, which you know exactly what that car looks like if you've seen a cab somewhere in New York. I'm sure a lot of those are Crown Victorias. I mean, they're cool cars. They're great. A lot of cop cars, obviously. And I don't know what I just did right there. Obviously, a lot of great cop cars and stuff like that. So it's a wonderful car in real life. And the Crown Vic's done a lot of things. Overall, might be a better pick in this as well. It doesn't cost you $10. But if you do have the motor pass, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have this car in your collection. Take it for some cruises here and there. But how many people are actually driving these cars in these missions? Let me know if you guys are actually driving the cabs in the missions, or are you guys actually driving legit cars. For me personally, I normally drive hypercars unless there's like a challenge something, and I will be considering that for future like challenges and all that, actually driving cabs and all that, so the challenges actually work or don't glitch out or anything like that. If you don't run like a hypercar, sometimes they might not work or something like that. Regardless, overall, I have to say the winner in this is going to be the Crown Victoria. It is probably your best option. The car is great overall. Handling, speed, braking, it's all there. It's pretty much got it all going for it, and it's not really too expensive. You don't have to really buy the motor pass if you don't want it. If you do have the motor pass, I say most people just got this car anyway because the Julie is in there. And that limo is obviously pretty awesome. I'm doing a limo comparison video as well because I think the SRT8 does deserve a comparison versus the Crown Victoria. That car is really, really good. Overall, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Which cab do you prefer and why? What's your favorite things about them and all that? What's some things you don't like about them? Thank you all so much again for watching. And if you all are interested as well, here are the settings I'm running on my Crown Victoria.